ranked 12th in the NFL, 7th in rushing. Frank Reich starting for the injured Charlie Batch, just 5-14 as a starter. Ray Roberts, Mike Compton, Jim Pine, Jeff Hardings, and Tony Ramirez up front. Everyone knows Barry Sanders, Tommy Bardell blocking for him. Herman Moore and Johnny Morton, the receivers. Walter Rasby checks in at tight end. The Ravens blitz on the first down. Reich throws it outside. He hooks up with Johnny Morton for 4. NFL. The group up front, McCrary, Saragusa, James Jones, and Rob Burnett. The linebackers, young guys that are very active. They run around and make plays. Ray Lewis going to the Pro Bowl. Sharper and Bolware on the outsides. Defensive secondary, Woodson and Starks the corners. Staten and Stevan Moore are the safety. Reich hands it to Barry Sanders on the draw. Sanders' first carry of the day. Up past the 30 to the 32-yard line.
And then we talked earlier, there is a guy that's got a lot to play for here today. Now, Barry Sanders, it doesn't matter what the situation is, what the record is, Barry Sanders is going to show up and play.
There are only 5 men in NFL history have had 100. Sanders bounces it, squirts through for a first down up to the 37-yard line.
And there has always been the argument right there for keeping Barry Sanders in on short yardage.
Field, 1st and 10, Reich throwing quick, hooks up to Herman Moore. Moore will pick up 4. Stevan Moore on Herman Moore. Bolware with an assist. David Sloan in motion. Barry Sanders. No room off to his left side. Larry Webster stops Barry for a loss of 1.
He can get around corners, and he's always around the football. Now here he just fights through, looks like 2 or 3 line blockers and finds a football. And a guy like that, he's a Pro Bowler because he can make an impact inside, outside, and if he can get to the football, he's the kind of guy that makes your defense better.
3rd down and 6. The Lions have to make it to the 48-yard line for.
See, he stands up.
Now give it to Barry Sanders. He's trapped in the backfield. He'll lose a couple more. Ray Lewis shot in there and nailed him along with Keith Washington. Priest Holmes and Roosevelt Potts in the I formation. Play action. Harbaugh hit as he throws, an incomplete pass.
Right way out of there, or very close.
And that'll put Wally Richardson in. He is the second quarterback today as Eric Zier has been declared inactive.
Fredrickson just beats his man around the corner. He's coming from the linebacker position, and he caught Harbaugh when that hand was in the air. Boy, same old story for Jim Harbaugh. Started off the season, second quarter of the first game, he got nicked up, ended up having to take 3 or 4 games out, and never really got healthy until the 8th week, and the team suffered for it.
Wally Richardson, a second-year man out of Penn State, fumbles the first handoff. Priest Holmes picks it up and makes his way back to the line of scrimmage.
Wally Richardson getting his first start, first playing time here of the regular season. You look at Jim Harbaugh, and this is what happens.
Yeah, you got to be a little nervous with that first handoff.
I mean, you're not exactly sitting over there the last game of the season expecting to get the nod. But guess what, son? You're on.
The reason Eric Zier is the 3rd quarterback today, sprained his foot in pregame warmups. So Wally Richardson comes on. He faces a 3rd down and 9 from his own 14-yard line. He'll hand this to Priest Holmes, and Holmes will be short of the first down, getting just up to the 21. Kevin Abrams at his own 36-yard line to receive the Richardson punt.
That's a nice one.
Oh, he drives him way back. Fair catch, and he is hit trying to attempt a fair catch, and that will be a penalty. And the ball is loose. They're running around.
Donnie Brady didn't even realize that the penalty had been called. He keeps jogging. It's a loose ball, but they're going to get him for interference.
Prior to the kick, holding on the offense. By rule, this penalty will be declined. Invalid fair catch signal on the receiving team. This penalty will be declined. Unsportsmanlike conduct, blocking a receiver out of bounds during the kick. This penalty will be accepted. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Still not convinced on that.
It's a judgment call by the officials as Frank Reich hands to Barry Sanders on first down. Sanders trapped behind the line of scrimmage again. Ray Lewis shot through there. Lead player. 2nd and 12. Reich from his own end zone. Throws the quick out to Herman Moore. Moore up to the 9-yard line, and we'll go out to the Fox Network Center in Hollywood and JB.
Ray and Ron, you know Tampa Bay's futility under 40 degrees. They're 0-16. They start hot here. Trent Dilfer, aerial pass, 50-yard strike to Rob Thomas. They're on top by a touchdown. Tampa Bay needs a victory and some help in order to make it to the postseason. Ray Bentley and Ron Pitts.
Where he's going to go when he's lined up in that position. He can go inside and out. Now he's got his hand down.
3rd down and 11 after the penalty. Right. Again, throwing from his end zone. He has time. Over the middle, open Tommy Boyd. Boyd has enough for the first down. Gain of 12.
They got a flag back there.
There's a flag in the end zone.
Yeah, holding in.
Number 72, offense. This foul occurred in the end zone.
Safety.
Safety.
Infraction occurred in the end zone. Safety. Detroit will have to kick from their own 20.
Boy, that's just ugly for the Detroit Lions. Big Ray Roberts over here. Now he's working on the linebacker. That's Bullware just out of the picture. But if holding, any penalty occurs right there, he dragged him down. Any penalty occurs in the end zone on the offense, then that results in a safety. And that's what happened. Right here, you're going to see him just
right there,
pull him down on the takedown.
Riddled this Lions football team late in the season.
They got guys that twist knees running from one drill to another in practice.
Detroit has elected to punt the free kick from the 20-yard line. Jermaine Lewis and Patrick Johnson back to receive.
Ugh.
A bad kick from Jack. It is a live football, but it goes out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Whoa. Baltimore was fortunate Detroit didn't fall on that and get possession. Baltimore offense ranked 26th in the NFL. Up front, Atkins, Cavill, Mitchell, Blackshear, and Falau. Blackshear, the only normal starter in that group. Priest Holmes and Potts in the backfield. Michael Jackson, Jermaine Lewis are the wide receivers. Detroit Lions defense has had trouble stopping the run lately. They are 25th in the NFL against the run. Scroggins, Ellis, Spindler, and Porsche up front. The linebackers, Aldridge and Fredrickson, free agent acquisitions on the outside. Richard Jordan starting for the injured Stephen Boyd in the middle. Abrams and Westbrook, the corners. Jeffries and Rice at safety. Jeffries in for Mark Carrier. Abrams in for 9 for a first down. 3rd and 9. Richardson with the blitz. Dumps it over the middle. It is broken up.
Oh, a nice play.
Greg Jeffries knocked it away from Brian Kinchin. Kyle Richardson, his second punt of the day, is first. A career-high 67-yarder. Tommy Boyd back at his 10. And Richardson downs it inside the Lions 5. Detroit once again will have bad field position. Donnie Brady down there. Frank Wright tries to get Detroit out of the shadow of their end zone. And it's a safety. Another safety.
Ball's out.
Is it a fumble? Fumble by Barry Sanders. The Ravens recover at the 2. Tony Saragusa came up with it.
It's an all kind of cane here today. Now he's on this backside, but the initial pursuit actually is right there. That's 91 Dalton.
Lionel Dalton, a rookie out of Eastern Michigan.
Right here. He's playing right over the nose. I mean, they just beats the backside. They don't try to cover the backside, protect the backside at all. Run.
Ravens have been terrible. Last in the NFL in red zone offense. Priest Holmes dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Baltimore. He expected to do well.
And they got a man down. There's a Raven down on the field.
And that is Ben Cable field. There's your points off of turnovers. And 9-0 first quarter lead over Detroit.
Like I said, we won't expound on
that. I'm not taking any blame for that one. Reich scrambling on 1st and 10, sacked by Staten.
His problems too, as of late.
2nd and 13. Corey Thomas, a rookie wide receiver in for Detroit. His first play ever. Barry Sanders trapped for another loss. Let's lose it out to Los Angeles in the Fox Network Center. JB has got an NFL update.
Thanks for the handoff, Ray. Take a look at this box punt by Cincinnati's Brad Costello. Can't handle it. Tampa gets the ball back on downs. A 1-yard run by Mike Allstott makes it 14-0. Tampa is threatening to make it 21-0. Back to Ray Bentley. And
if they win today, they are in. 3rd down and 13. Frank Reich over the middle to Morton. First down, Detroit.
Nice catch by Johnny Morton.
First and 10, Barry Sanders. And Barry finally finds some room, breaks tackles up to the 46, 47-yard line. A 10-yard pickup for Barry.
That's amazing.
Mercury Morris?
Mercury out of thermometer.
Okay.
You know, when it breaks, you try to pick it up. Maybe Mercury Morris too. Ray Lewis has to come airborne. There they go again.
Right. Tries to set up the screen to Barry Sanders. Nothing doing. The pressure came from Peter Boulware. Bay looks good. Giants are playing later. Priest Holmes. Run out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Bryant Westbrook on the tackle. Harbaugh to throw. And that is complete to Michael Jackson, short of the first down. Barry Sanders yet to get anything going. Frank Reich on first down, looks down, throws behind Herman Moore. Moore stops and catches it for a gain up to the 43-yard line. Motion, Reich throws it inside to Herman Moore. Moore with another grab, his fourth on the day. It picks up 11. Moore, 4 catches, 41 yards.
Moore can go up and get the ball if he gets his body in between the defender.
Barry Sanders, nowhere to go again. His 10th carry of the day. Mike McCrary gets him for a 3-yard loss. Barry Moore 35. And they moved early. Ramirez. 3rd and 18. Reich with time. Dumps it short over the middle to Moore. Stevan Moore on Herman Moore. 4th down. Stands at his 10. And the rush is on. Jet gets it away. High spiraling kick. Lewis lets it bounce and it backspins. Oh, great play, Detroit on special teams. Lead over Detroit. Priest Holmes with a huge hole. Priest Holmes all the way up to the 18-yard line. A gain of 15. He said everybody was in agreement this week. Harbaugh agrees with Michael Jackson, but Abrams does not agree. Hits Jackson for a loss.
There was a question on the effort there.
2nd and 13, Harbaugh. Downfield for Jackson. He's got it up at the 38-yard line. Abrams on the coverage, a 22-yard gain. Getting the arm back. Priest Holmes gets it back on the right side. Holmes past midfield to the 47. Scroggins got him after a 13-yard gain. Holmes again. Slashes off to the right side for 5 more. Brian Holmes, 10 carries and 43 yards. His 11th carry is another big one. And there is a flag on this as Holmes runs it out of bounds at the 23.
Holding, number 81, offense. 10-yard penalty remains. 2nd down.
Michael.
One-handed deal.
Got a crooked thumb there.
2nd and 2. Harbaugh dumps it out to Holmes. Excuse me, Eric Rhett, who checked in for Holmes, and Rhett gets the first down. Play action for Harbaugh. Hooks up over the middle with Lewis. Lewis gets another first down, working on Westbrook. To win. 1st and 10, the bootleg to Lewis. Lewis can't escape Jeffries. He'll pick up 5.
Yeah, and that's interesting because that chemistry thing they had when he was with the Colts. And people say, well, it takes a while. Baloney. I mean, they...
Harbaugh from the gun. Chased out of it. Fredrickson's got him.
Yeah, and give that credit to the secondary. Harbaugh's got no place to go with the football. It's always something.
Holding, number 32, defense.
Westbrook.
5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Kind of make you forget where you are for a while.
Harbaugh knows where he is. Touchdown to Potsy. Roosevelt Potts.
What a catch.
2nd touchdown reception of the season for Roosevelt Potts, an 11-yarder from Jim Harbaugh. In New York, the Baltimore Colts beat the Giants in overtime in what some people call the greatest game ever played. There's number 19, Johnny Unitas at quarterback. The 40th anniversary of this incredible win for Baltimore will be tomorrow, December 28th. And we have a special guest, a man that played in that game, and we'll get to him in just a moment as it is 2nd and 6. Sanders corralled again in the backfield. Now a huge loss. Barry cannot get anywhere. McCrary's on him along with Boulware. Let's go down to the sideline. Steve Davis is with Johnny Unitas. Steve?
All right, Ray, thank you very much. The greatest game ever played. Many people think this is the greatest quarterback that ever played, John Unitas. 40 years ago, memories of that game?
Well, it was a good game. I think it was a game that really put the National Football League into the prominence it now holds.
What are your fondest memories? I know you always talk about the fact that that may have been the greatest game ever played, but it wasn't the greatest game the Colts played that year. Looking back on it, is it amazing that people are still talking about it 40 years later?
It really is. That just shows you how the game has improved over the years and how much that people love to come out here and watch it.
And now 40 years later, can you believe where the NFL is? We just had a guy, Jake the Snake, that signed for $30 million. Tom Matty once told me, one of your teammates, he wishes his mom had him about 30 years later. You too?
Oh, God, that would be enjoyable to know that you could be financially independent on 1 year's play.
Tell me a little bit about the story of the overtime in that first ever overtime game in the NFL. Tell me about the overtime.
Well, we really didn't know there was going to be an overtime at that time. Bert Bell was a commissioner, deemed it necessary that never should a game end in a tied championship game, so the first overtime came about. But when we tied the ball game up and went off the field, we were all standing around scratching our heads. What do we do now, you know? And I don't think the officials knew either. But then they came up and said, well, we're going to play in overtime, and the first team that scores wins. So that was the start of it.
And I guess you're glad they played the overtime on.
Yes, we certainly are.
All right, Johnny, thanks very much. Back up to you, Ray.
Negative 1 yard. We'll try it again. And that's the thing, you never know when Barry will bust when there is a flag as Sanders gets down to the 17.
Holding, number 86 offense, 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
9th penalty of the day for Detroit. Problems, they look good and then they look very bad. Reich on the bootleg, throws the screen back to Barry Sanders. Sanders squirts his way up to the original line of scrimmage. Ralph Staten got him. The Ravens jumping around has created problems, so Reich goes on a quick count to Barry Sanders and there's nothing there.
Tired of it. Look at this. He's had a couple starts.
Yards today for Sanders, 3rd and 10. Right. Dumps it off to Herman Moore. Moore. 7th catch of the day, but it's short of the first.
You wonder at this point, where do the Lions have to go to? You know,
he's going to try and get some points on the board. Jason Hansen set for a 39-yard field goal. And he'll improve that mark as it is good. And the Lions finally get on the board. Baltimore 16, Detroit 3. They started on them and they stayed on them, and it's been their game thus far. It hasn't been Barry Sanders' game. And I'm a little surprised at the way this Detroit Lion football team came out today. I expected that Bobby Ross would have had these fellas ready.
Yeah, but it's all about what you got on your team. And when he goes in the locker room, he's got to look around and call some.
Into the playoffs, and they have see Harbaugh's numbers in the first half. Get that middle of the offensive team going early on. Harbaugh on 3rd. Oh, great catch from Michael Jackson.
Not down, ain't he?
Ball isn't and hit somebody. It's worked so far. Jermaine Lewis up to the 45. Pickup of 13. Harbaugh to Lewis. It's happened here, and they haven't had it this year. Harbaugh out to Priest Holmes. Priest Holmes shakes Westbrook and gets up to the 45 in Lions territory. A gain of 9. 2nd and less than 1. Potsy finds a hole up the middle. Roosevelt pops, and he spits it up. Abrams picks it up. And Detroit forces their first turnover of the day. He was headed for that landing pad, just didn't have the football. 3rd and 9. The Lions need to get it up to the 40. Right. Looking for his tight end, Sloan. Tight coverage on Sloan.
Very tight coverage.
Boyd Turner goes in motion, and they'll pitch it out to Priest Holmes. Priest Holmes with a burst, a gain of 4 yards. Class of 99.
Well, everybody wants a quarterback, and I tell you the guy I like is right here. And the reason why is that he runs around in the pocket and has the mobility that a lot of the good quarterbacks that are playing well today have. And he's a playmaker and he's a winner. He has to remind you of a Doug Flutie right now.
Baltimore 3 of 7 on third down conversions. 3rd and 6. Harbaugh throws it into a crowd, incomplete. Looked like he was looking for Michael Jackson.
I don't know what he was looking for.
Before today, if the season ended prior to today's game, this is what the draft order would have been. And you see Baltimore with an 8th pick, Detroit with a number 10. We'll show you some scores that will, and we'll make that picture clearer for you. 2nd and 2. Barry Sanders, now he's going. Here goes Barry Sanders. Working on Corey Harris. Sanders, his first big run of the game, all the way down to the Raven 25-yard line, a pickup of 31.
Yeah, number 30, watch him. I mean, he ISOs on Ray Lewis. You talk about what it takes to make big plays. They get the Pro Bowler blocked so their Pro Bowler can get down the field.
12 carries, 31 yards on the day for Barry Sanders. He had 11 carries for no yards prior to that burst. That's a lot no matter what. Sanders again.
Oh.
2nd and 4 for Detroit. Barry Sanders starting to heat up. Close to the first down yardage. Stevan Moore out on that last play with an injured neck. Fortunately, he is back in the lineup for the Ravens. 3rd and short for Barry Sanders. Sanders, I don't think he got it. Ray Lewis stops it.
See, I'm loving the collisions that Schlesinger has up front.
He'll get a chance to play it here. 4th down and inches. As they set the chains and Frank Reich is ready to go. Tommy Vardell. It'll depend on the spot.
If he didn't get it initially, he sure didn't get on that second spin.
Great surge from the defensive line of the Baltimore Ravens, led by number 91, Lionel Dalton.
Yeah, and 98 Saragusa, he's come back today.
Dalton got him first. Corwin Brown got him second.
Brown, he had a nice stand-up. Nope. He didn't get anything. He lost.
He lost with a couple of inches.
Now watch the purple shirt surge. The new line of scrimmage. Look, there's a white shirt 3 yards back. If you can change the line of scrimmage, you win. That's all it's about.
Boy,
purple shirts won.
I go back to why not have Barry Sanders carry that football.
I'm not even going to go. I've been back to that so many times. I'm not even going to go back again.
I'm sick of going back there. 16 carries, 71 yards on the day for Holmes. Holmes spread out at the bottom of your screen. Harbaugh zips it over the middle of Jermaine Lewis. Lewis up to the 25. Or they go out of the shotgun. Snapped over Harbaugh's head. Is this a design play? It's like Lewis was coming around on some kind of reverse. Caught the ball on the bobble, but loses yardage, and Baltimore will have to punt. Richardson on to punt. Tommy Boyd takes it at the 45. Boyd wrapped up immediately. A 41-yard punt, a 3-yard return as Benny Thompson makes the special teams play for Baltimore.
You can get any job with this resume. Any job in the NFL, that is. And the important thing is that Barry has never had any kind of operation on those wheels. And that's the key to longevity in the league.
Washington in the lineup for Mike McCrary at this point. 2nd down and 7. And there's another early start as Frank Reich gets run under.
Goose.
The Goose. Tony Saragusa got him. 320-pounder.
Offside. Number 98, defense.
Maybe that's why.
Penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Well, Goose hasn't had a sack since 1996. So Sanders out in motion. Schlesinger picks up the first down. Ray Lewis tackled him. Let's go to Los Angeles, the Fox Network Center, and JB for an NFL update.
Hey, Ray, there's a goose being cooked in Cincinnati. Eric Kresser, the quarterback for Randy Moss at Marshall, throws his second pick of the day. That's for Cincinnati, picked off by Rondé Barber, who returns it deep into Cincy territory. Tampa Bay victory. They need a Giants win and an Arizona loss in order to make it to the postseason. Back to Ray and Ron.
Yeah, it looks like the Giants are pretty much toasted up now.
First and 10, Frank Reich. Looking for Herman Moore. He's got him down at the 20. Starks there with the play, but Herman Moore is 9th catch on the day, a 22-yarder.
Two tights.
There goes Barry Sanders. Sanders finding room in the third quarter. And with that 10-yard gain, Barry Sanders has reached the 1,500 mark.
Make provisions for it.
Third quarter winding down, Detroit. Third and short, and here's Barry, and he goes nowhere. You got to block somebody. They didn't block the Goose or Burnett.
Maybe.
The out to Herman Moore. Herman with a spin move. He wants end zone. Not going to get it, but it is a first down inside the 5.
You got two. It's too short of a distance. Then you're too susceptible to the out. He's got to stay in Herman's face.
10 grabs on the day for Herman Moore. Barry Sanders fumbles again.
Saragusa is killing the Lions up front.
But he got it back. Goose. You hear the crowd go with the Goose call. There's a Christmas Goose. We had him at 1,500 for the year. He's going backwards now. Schlesinger on a reception from Frank Reich. Bowls his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit.
Dwayne Starks, welcome to the NFL, son.
16-10 in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, you're all over the place, fella.
Thank you. I know
you're doing a wonderful job.
You're helping Raiden. There they go downtown.
Harbaugh deep for Michael Jackson. He's got it. You know he was out of bounds.
And they're trying to say that he was pushed out. He would have come down inbounds. He's got Abrams struggling. Yeah, and that ball's underthrown a bit, too.
None.
Harbaugh leads that ball up the field. Jackson can catch that in stride and keep on trucking. Woo, you know, I think he might be pushed out.
Yeah, with the push forces his left leg up in the air.
I think that is a bad call.
Combs down at the bottom of your string. Potts alone in the backfield. Harbaugh will throw as the blitz comes. And he dumps this out, and
that's got to be
a flag. It's either grounding or a late hit on the quarterback.
Somebody threw the flag again. They're going to throw it again. Did you see that? They're going to have two flags. Side of that tackle to tackle, that tight end to tight end box in order to get away with that. Then it has to go at least to the line of scrimmage.
Number 4 on the offense. Penalty carries, loss of down, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 4, half the distance to the goal, third down.
Make it past midfield to the Detroit 49 for the first down. Harbaugh going to try and leg it out. He'll slide it up past the 20, well short of the first down. Luther Ellis chases him down. Tommy Boyd. Boyd runs it down to his own 30-yard line. Oh, and he gets lit up. Tommy Boyd took a shot from Donnie Brady and John Williams. Barry Sanders. Sanders loses another yard. And 3rd and 11.
A little Bear defense.
Ravens jumping around again. Reich dumps it underneath, misses Sanders, almost picked off. Ray Lewis with the coverage. Behind the graphic as Harbaugh hands it to Priest Holmes. Holmes cuts back, breaks a tackle. Forced out after he gains a first down.
And he's got that way of getting big and keeping tacklers off him. Watch him use the free arm once right there, and he uses it again. It's hard to teach that. But he's going to have a big one. He has.
Harbaugh dumps it out to Roosevelt. Potts shakes Aldridge, hops over another man, and Potts tiptoes his way down the sideline into Detroit territory. Harbaugh puts Turner in motion. They'll toss it out to Holmes. Priest Holmes, nowhere to go on the outside. Richard Jordan came up with a stop. When he was a sophomore in high school. Harbaugh zips it in over the middle. Nice catch from Turner.
Oh, that was a shot.
3rd and 4. Priest Holmes gets the first down and over 100 yards on the day. 4th consecutive week that Detroit has given up over 100 yards to a running back. 2nd and 7. Holmes goes again, but penetration will stop him this time as Ryan Stewart is in there along with Mark Spindler. But Harbaugh lost one into the end zone, just threw it away as the pressure was on. He's looking for Floyd Turner. The Ravens will kick a field goal.
Bailey ran over a photographer back there. Look out.
Well, you take your chances when you line up along the field. Oh, he gave him a little extra. He didn't have to do that.
That's good awareness by Bailey, though. You know, who says football players can't separate what goes on the field and off the field?
Gave the little shot and then realized, hey, that's not right. As Stover.
Wow, that was ugly,
field goal.
but good.
And the Ravens extend their lead to 19-10. A 30-yard shot from Matt Stover. 2nd and 10. Right, throws it to Barry Sanders. Sanders wasn't even looking, and then a flag comes out on it late in the area of offensive holding.
Big dot block.
Personal foul on the Detroit Lions offensive line.
Personal foul, chop block, number 77 and 61 on the offense. The penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal, remains 2nd down.
The deal is you can't have a man posted up, one guy high and the other guy come and chop him low, and that
or being picked up in the expansion draft by the Cleveland Browns.
3rd and 24. Reich looking for it along the sidelines. He'll be picked off by Woodson. Did he have it in bounds? There's a discussion. Woodson's pleading his case. He wants his 7th pick of the year. Right.
And Bobby Ross had to talk Frank Reich out of coming back this year for situations like this. He's playing in this game today because they need it.
Jet lines it to James Rowe. Rowe from his 45. Rowe up just past the 50-yard line. And it'll get in there and demand the respect and the hard work from his teammates.
Let's face it, there's nothing wrong with pinning another guy up against the locker when he's your teammate.
Understand 10. Priest Holmes just 15 yards shy of 1,000 on the season. And he may have just gotten it right there. He got close to it. Give him 12 on that carry. Year storied history here in Baltimore. And Holmes will get it and then some. And he'll get a first down. Today, Martinez on the Fox box. Gene Richards, our A2 mixer man, and Win Bernfeld and other wonderful cameramen. Priest Holmes picks up another couple of yards, adding to his total. Detroit has 3 timeouts. It doesn't look like they're going to use them, and that means Barry Sanders, he was 1 yard shy. We had him at 1499. Actually, I had him at 1500, jumped the gun, but 1499. He has lost 8 yards since then, and that string of 4 consecutive years with 1,500 yards or more for Barry looks like it's coming to an end. You get that. A disappointing season for Barry Sanders and the Detroit Lions. Same for Jim Harbaugh and the Ravens, but they end on a high note with a 19-10 win over the Detroit Lions. So Baltimore in the big home game, season finale, they come out on top. The question here now is, will Ted Marchibroda be around here tomorrow even?
Yeah, well, you can ask anyone in this stadium, and I think the answer is no. And in a lot of ways, that's unfortunate because I think Ted Marchibroda is a pretty darn good football coach, and he proved that a couple years ago when he went to Indianapolis and turned that team around. And he did a pretty darn good job when he was here with the Baltimore coach back in the 70s. So he's proven that he can make a winner out of just about anything, and has done that. But there's the coaching market these days is so volatile. You have to win in 2 years. It's not a 3, 4, 5-year program anymore like it used to be. You got to win, and you got to win fast.